Hi, welcome back to Transparent UTR. Today we're going to talk about a topic I'm not really adversed in, but I'm going to give it a shot. It is LGBT in sports and etc. Primarily focusing on the T in LGBT, which is transgender, if y'all didn't know. And recently, there's been a big outcry with the LGBT, with the transgender movement, where transgenders are trying to get more rights and everything like that. And following that would be sports. It's America's biggest financial gain, where we host hundreds upon hundreds of sports games each year. I'm not a big fan of them, so I wouldn't have much to say about that. But it's definitely a good sign when you see people like Caitlyn Jenner or Harrison Brown, which is a hockey player for a transgender hockey player that just came out as male, which is very inspiring for LGBT community, especially in the sports world, where we're having these big jumps and leaps and movements and all that kind of stuff. But again, with all this comes a couple issues. Harrison Brown, used to be Haley Brown, is part of a team. I can't remember what it was. I think it was the Bouts, and she is in the National Women's Hockey League. Which, if you are adverse, you would see the issue where she's on the women's league, even though she identifies as a male. And they've tried to be claiming her with doping scandals because of testosterone, and she's going through the gender reassignment surgery. He's going through the gender reassignment surgery. So the biggest issue is what do you do in those senses? What do you do about locker rooms and like all these different male and female dominated sports teams? I feel that that gender that you identify as, this is only personally me, should be the gender that you play with, according to your own safety and your own concern. Because if you're doing, let's say, fighting or like MMA fighting, cage fighting, football, soccer, and all that, it would be a lot more difficult to, say, be a woman, a born woman, even though you identify as male, playing on a male sports team, because physically the body grows differently as a woman. So I definitely feel it's an issue, but if you feel comfortable with it, then I would say go for it. But the thing is, they wouldn't allow that for Harrison Brown. So I feel that there should be a team that is sort of like child sports teams, where they have like, it's not gender dominated, like they have a unisex baseball team and stuff like that. We should at least have a couple leagues of those, so those who don't identify or those who want to play are able to play and enjoy like the time they have. And especially with the recent outcoming of Caitlyn Jenner identifying as transgender, it's a very big transgender movement, and especially since it's going into the Kardashians and all that kind of stuff. I'm not a big fan of Kardashians, but it's very good that all these big names are coming out, especially in hockey, and I believe there was one in football that also came out recently. But the biggest part about this is the lack of LGBT open out athletes. You don't see too many gay football players. You don't see too many transgender. This is like two instances, even though these sports are like the biggest in American society. And it doesn't make sense that only two would only come out. So I would definitely feel a lot more comfortable and a lot more support if any athletes were out there would come out, because it would give the LGBT community something to root for, something to search for, to be so widely accepted. and both Harrison and Caitlyn were accepted for the most part. I'm sure there was a couple outliers that said this is BS, all that kind of stuff, but obviously there's going to be a lot of those. But I feel that these are two big influences, not for me personally, but definitely for those who are big fans of sports and everything. I definitely feel if more LGBT closeted members, athletes, different personalities, TV personalities, all that kind of stuff were to come out, it would give motivation to anyone that is closeted, that's not in like the best situation to come out and accept themselves. A quote from Harrison was saying he can finally accept himself and can finally show his actual self, which is definitely inspiring to me. Being transgender myself, it definitely gives me that sense of, hey, there is something better out there. It's not all just hate and bigotry. But these two instances aren't just enough for some people. It's like, oh, they only two would come out because they're only two brave enough to come out. It's just we need to have an openness for LGBT athletes that a lot of people wouldn't have. You think football player, big, macho, straight, wants to be like very stereotypically male, like a very male dominant. But we need to open our eyes to the fact that there can be a femme football player, there can be a masculine female player. So the fact that they don't have that really, that the stereotype still exists of that, is definitely a bit troubling. But yeah, if you have anything else to say, please mention in the comments below. I could really use the help because, again, I'm not a big fan of sports. I'm not a big fan of that kind of thing. But I definitely feel if more LGBT closeted members were to come out in sports, it would definitely make a big impact on the LGBT community as a whole. It would be more widely accepted. But thank you. This has been Alice from Transparent UTR, and I hope you all have a nice day.